see, Dave, I can imagine that. I can imagine a marathon runner stopping off at McDonald's, but I can't imagine a pigeon stopping off at your house and just staying there for a little while. And you knowing, going, oh, it's just one of those pigeons. Yeah, come in. Do you want a cup of tea? You live, I don't know.
I gave him some corn.
I thought we both came from a similar place in England, but I don't.
Brad comes from the far reaches of the earth.
Hello and welcome to the VideoGamer.com podcast. How is everybody on the internet? I hope you're well. I hope your ears are delightful. I'm joined by Simon Miller.
Welcome.
Chris Bratt.
Hello.
And Dave Scammell.
That was a rather sudden opening there. I wasn't expecting that.
It was. Nobody expects the podcast opening.
Man, let's just throw these at us occasionally.
I do.
How we react to it.
I think in cricket they call it a curveball.
Nice.
It's a bit of sports trolling.
Yeah.
How is everyone this week then? What have you been playing?
Mount Your Friends quite a bit, actually.
Excuse me?
But that's not a game he's been playing. That's where he doesn't think he goes home.
I've downloaded it back at the flat and I've introduced my flatmates to the glory of Mount Your Friends.
Mount Your Friends is great. We should probably point out that basically it's this game where a bunch of very kind of cartoon-style oiled-up dudes. I'm imagining the oil. It's not actually visible in the game.
They look pretty oily.
They look pretty oily.
I wouldn't say so.
Okay, well, me and Simon are agreed. Dave, would you go for oily?
Just penis.
Just penis, yeah.
Just penis.
Obviously,
Thanks for that, Dave.
always a valuable addition to discussions. We have, basically they're in these dudes in banana hammocks, speedos, sort of like with these quite visible schlongs waving around, and it's like QWOP or something. In the fact that you have to press the 4 controller buttons on the Xbox pad to move their limbs, and swing them around to climb up other dudes to get higher into the sky.
First you have to climb a goat.
A goat.
I figured out the goat. Did everyone figure out the goat?
Did you read it from the YouTube comments?
No.
Well, what do you mean you figured it out? What's the deal?
It's a mounting goat.
Okay.
Mounting.
Mounting. Is that actually on our YouTube? I didn't honestly. Just was that. Genuinely was driving my car the other day and it just went ping, went off in my head and I was like, it's a mounting goat.
Yep.
People seem to really like that though. We made a video on YouTube of us kind of going head to head, and it's on the VideoGamer.com as well. Check it out actually.
It's one of my favourite videos we've done. It's just so stupid. Quite
a lot of fun, and it's quite a short video, but it shows you what the game's about. It's actually loads of fun though. It's a really good party game. Yeah,
it's one of the best couch co-op games I'm playing at the moment. Like that, easily, and the fact
which other couch co-op games are you playing?
Well, it's not co-op, maybe couch multiplayer. Like back at the flat, my flatmates don't play a lot of games, so it's usually like a FIFA kind of couple of games at night. But I've managed to sway them away from that and get them to some Mount Your Friends competition.
It's pretty good.
And yeah, it's just it costs so little. It's 80 Microsoft points.
I was a natural. I'm worried though because the thing is. Weirdly, there's actually a lot of really fun little throwaway party games on Xbox Live Arcade's indie games.
Chomp, I think, is another good one.
Another one I think is called Hidden in Plain Sight.
Is that on
indie
games?
I think, unless I've got the name wrong.
Right, okay.
I don't know how that works exactly, but my friend Mr. Joe Scrabbles used to bang on about that all the time. But it's a shame because this whole system of having games that are literally like a quid or 50p, I don't know what's going to happen to that because obviously...
Is that with the change in the guard or is that with the going away from Microsoft points?
It's more the change in the way the system's working.
Right.
The fact they're abolishing Live Arcade.
Yeah, the indie game marketplace
was
like... It was running in a similar way to the iOS store, really. It was just so open. The only kind of validation you needed to get your game on there was from other people who make games, and it was pretty much, as long as it's not entirely offensive, it can be a little bit offensive because trust me, some of those games,
there is some horrible stuff on there,
and it doesn't crash your Xbox. You can pretty much get your game on there. It won't necessarily get much of an audience,
but it felt like that whole Xbox Live Arcade indie game thing was just a token gesture in the first place. A token gesture to show that Microsoft cared about the indie scene, and it feels like with all the other stuff they've done lately, also the fact that it was a token gesture which then they were rubbish at dealing with, and they never promoted anything, and they let loads of good stuff die.
Absolutely.
And it feels like now it was just one of those things where they just got to the point of looking at it and going, I don't know what to do with this.
They stopped caring, I think, a couple of years ago now. But originally it was a really nice gesture because they released this kind of game studio package that you can use.
Yeah, it was all XNA and all that, wasn't it? They did.
Well, that isn't supported.
Well, they killed XNA.
Well, I know, but they made a big deal of it at the time. I just think maybe it didn't generate such a big profit as they were hoping, and it didn't take off.
That's the thing, isn't it? It didn't give them any rewards, so they thought, what's the point? Why?
Yeah. But I think it's a shame because, especially with XNA, that was pretty scandalous. I remember talking to an indie developer, actually quite a prominent indie developer, about 6 months ago, and actually it's pretty close to a year, and him saying, so I actually said to Microsoft, like, I'm making this game and I'm making it in XNA, that's cool. And they were like, yeah. And they didn't tell him. It was literally like 4 months later, they just basically went, XNA is dead. So basically, if you've learned to use
it, they're not going to update it anymore.
Yeah, so it means like it's a waste of time learning to. And it was a shame because I almost actually learned to try and code in XNA because I like the idea of making a game and I like the idea of the indie game marketplace. I thought when I was at OXM, I was trying to pitch this feature idea. In the end, I didn't do it just because it would have taken so long of actually making a game. But I'm glad I didn't because I would have learned to use a system which would be obsolete.
It was so cool though because you could make your tiny little indie game could go on to a possible market of one of the biggest consoles ever. You could get your little game onto one of the two big consoles, and it was such a cool idea. It never really, like you say, it never really generated a lot of profit. Even the games that did really well, which like the Minecraft clones, are so insubstantial compared to the arcade.
Money. Remember that old PS1? What was the little white PS1 that Sony released that allowed people to make their own games at home?
Oh God!
For some reason, I think of not Yahtzee, but it was something like that.
Yahtzee's a weird game with dice.
Yeah, no, it's not that.
Ding! 1 point.
But yeah,
Simon.
It's weird. Like the platform holders have been experimenting with this for a long time, and they've all done their own different approaches. But now, I don't know.
It feels like the approach that Microsoft are taking is Project Spark. I mean, actually, feels like they're doing what Sony tried to do with the Little Big Planet. Being like, all right, well, let's not give people coding stuff because they're never going to get their teeth into that. But let's try and create a framework where people can make stuff. But I guess it's just moderation and all that stuff. Anyway, Mount Your Friends is awesome. I think they've put it on Steam Greenlight, actually.
Yeah, that's right.
Which I hope.
How much? I don't know much about Steam apart from the basics. How much could that wind up costing on Steam?
It would be like the same price.
It would be like a quid or something. Okay.
Occasionally, the prices on Steam are a little higher than the original price, but I mean, I guess that takes into account the extra work that's gone into it. But
it's the sort of thing that would probably be about £3.
That's all right.
And it'll,
at the moment, though, it's like 80p. Or 70.
It's the sort of thing where if you have got an Xbox, and you can take it in terms of one pad, so if you've still got an Xbox knocking around, it's well worth buying just because it will cost you less than £1 and it's actually
less than your lunch.
Fun. Less than anyone's lunch, frankly. I mean, if you're spending less than £1 on your lunch, you're not eating very well.
Fudge bar still 10p? I assume.
Come on, mate. 10p
you're
for
like
a fudge?
You're like one of those politicians that doesn't know the price of milk anymore.
I have
like my grandma give me 50p a week and telling me not to spend it all in one place.
Because I don't buy chocolate. I haven't bought chocolate in about 6 years.
I'm proud of you.
I'm so disappointed.
The last time I bought a fudge, it was
David's
10p.
shaking his head. He's not impressed by that.
No,
sorry.
Can't believe it.
I remember when Freddo's as well. Freddo's, Taz's, Taz bars. Oh, can we just reminisce for this?
Just about chocolate days gone by.
Curly Whirlies.
Curly Whirlies.
Yeah, sort you out.
Anyway, reminiscing period is over. Please remove your rose-tinted glasses. Dave, what have you been playing this week?
I've been playing Assassin's Creed 3.
That's all he's got to say about that. Thanks, Dave.
It was a silence.
If you're a long-term listener, you'll probably be aware that back when Assassin's Creed 3 came out, and just before it came out, I hated that game. The idea of playing Assassin's Creed 3...
Why?
Because it just seemed so boring, and I played it for 3 hours at preview stage, and I really didn't like it.
Yeah.
I went from unfathomable hype to unfathomable disinterest
a lot of people
almost
did.
immediately.
Yeah, as soon as it came
Whereas
out.
I appear to have gone the opposite way around. I'm not massively into it even now, but it's a lot. I'm enjoying it more than I expected that I was. And I just thought, 4's coming out, I should probably keep up with what's going on in the series. Because for a very long time, it was almost stagnant for a bit. It felt like Assassin's Creed 2, they just dragged out a trilogy for the sake of churning out a yearly release. And I guess with 3... they tried to do something a little bit different. It's a lot more like Red Dead.
I'm really excited about
3 was awesome. I remember when the trailers first started coming out for that, a lot of people were very, very excited.
Yeah, it's like it's going to be like Red Dead, but with, it's going to be good.
And
it's buggy as hell, though. I don't know how they can
really?
I don't know how you can put a game out like that is in the state that it's in.
Because they had to, that's why.
Of course.
They've got to obey their new yearly model of death.
Absolutely.
I like the idea of that being a board in Ubisoft's headquarters. We must obey the model of death. Hang on a minute, guys. Should we call it the model of death?
How about the model of life?
I feel there's a weird kind of feeling around this name. Anyone want to suggest something else?
The only way we can succeed as a company is by following the model of franchise death.
The model of death.
It never works. Anyway,
it doesn't work.
No, but I've just got up to the bit where you find... well, you don't find, but you get your ship.
Spoilers? That's fine.
It's fine. Like that. A lot of people say that that's the best bit in the game, and so far it is. But it's weird because I didn't expect something like that to be as enjoyable as...
Well,
as
I'm actually really glad that when it was almost like Assassin's Creed 4 when it came out, it removed any requirement for me to ever play Assassin's Creed 3 because the only bit I wanted from that was the idea of doing the naval stuff.
And now I'm looking forward to it.
And now it's like, this game's just boats. I'm like, fucking yeah.
Is it actually just boats?
No, well,
I was going to say.
sort of. Basically, I am actually really excited by 4, but in a different way, because in 3, it was all this sort of grandeur, and they clearly thrown a lot of money into it, and they were all like story and stuff, and scope and scale. Whereas with this one, I get the impression that Assassin's Creed 4 is going to be like slightly ropey around the edges visually and stuff. It won't be as good as... It won't blow people away, and I think that it won't like have this amazing story. And I think like there'll be lots of things about it that won't be like spectacular. But I've just got a feeling it's going to be like Assassin's Creed 2 in the fact that you're just going to play it and it's just going to be really fun.
It does seem like that. Like a lot of the inspiration has just come from the reaction to the boats in Assassin's Creed 3.
Well, I get the idea that the boats in 3 were kind of an experiment, just to make sure the tech was working.
Guys, people really like boats.
Yeah, well,
but no, I think it's not just. I think it's the element that they've taken as well. As I got the impression that 3 was very controlled, especially for the first like 4 hours.
Oh,
of just doing tutorials and
Jesus.
stuff. So 2, what I liked about 2 was the fact that you did have this sense of freedom, and it did close off areas. But apparently in this, it's going to be like right from the start. You can just be like, get in your boat, go where you want.
I just don't know what the series is anymore. What does
care.
Assassin's Creed mean now?
It seems like
I don't know what that.
I know what
series
you
is.
mean. I know
That's the
what you
problem with doing this yearly thing, because they had this convoluted story anyway with Gary Neville lookalike.
Yeah, but Call of Duty, I know what Call of Duty is going to be. I know what Call of Duty is. I know what it's going to be this year.
I'm not 100% sure what Ghost is in terms of where it fits in or anything like that.
But it's going to be a very familiar first-person shooter. Whereas Assassin's Creed 3, totally different to Assassin's Creed 1. Assassin's Creed 2.
I know, but this is why, and I got the impression, and this might have just been what they wanted, it might have been properly planned, but I got the impression when they unveiled Assassin's Creed 4 that basically they were kind of nodding and winking and going, guys, we all kind of know that Assassin's Creed 2 and the games that followed that were the best ones, and I'm basically really holding out for Assassin's Creed 2 Pirate Edition.
Yeah.
I just want that. Yeah. I don't want this scope and scale, and I just want that lovely progression of gradually going around unlocking things and making your villa or in this your boat a bit nicer.
I was going.
No, on you go.
No, I was going to move it on a little bit. So.
Okay, well, just quickly, I think in terms of where they're now trying to do what we all thought they were going to do originally. Well, at least what I thought they were going to do with Assassin's Creed was Assassin's Creed, the first game, is you're an assassin in whatever period you want to call that, and you go and do some stuff. And Assassin's Creed 2 would be, I don't know, in the Civil War, and Assassin's Creed 3 would be as a pirate, and Assassin's Creed 4 would be in World War II. That's what I always thought the series was gearing up to be. And each one would have its own self-contained stories. I didn't realise there'd be this overarching bonkers...
Apparently they added that in.
Well, that doesn't surprise me.
Apparently there was originally, this is rumours I've heard many times, that the original Assassin's Creed was just going to be a historical game. And then somebody in marketing went, no, we can't do that. Like the idea of having a game which was just set in Middle Eastern Jerusalem, apparently they were like, no, people won't buy it. So it has to be sci-fi, because at that point it was still like Halo and stuff were big. Yeah. So they said it has to be sci-fi, and so they invented all this sci-fi stuff just because so they could tick a box.
Nolan North. But that's what I think. That's what it feels like it is now. To me, it feels like they are now just having assassin adventures in different periods of time.
Come on,
I think that's awesome, though. I think
that's what it should be. I'm much more interested in that than it was before.
That's what I mean. It feels like with 3, they were trying to sell you a story and an experience and a journey. Yeah. Whereas with 4, it just looks like they're trying to sell me a bit of fire.
Yeah, they're making a game about a pirate assassin. I think they've got...
It kind of, the only thing that annoys me about it is the way they keep going, if you just want a swashbuckling violent pirate, then, it's not going to be like that, because this is... I'm just like, mate, to be honest, mate, that's all I fucking want, all right? Just give me some fucking pirates. It's like, they're trying to go, it's not just that. We're trying to do something different here. It's like, why?
Yeah.
It's like, we've got to the point with zombie games now, where it's like, okay, we've had so many zombie games that, please do something a bit different with it, because I'm bored to fucking tears. But we haven't had loads of pirate games.
Yeah, and
pirates are so cool.
It's such a good genre, isn't it?
It is.
Scam, what were you going to say?
The thing I find weird, perhaps most about Assassin's Creed 4, though, is that it's always going to be in the shadows of Watch Dogs. I don't understand why they've done that. Watch Dogs is 3 weeks later. It seems to be getting the majority of the marketing and the promotion up until now, at least. And I just don't understand why Ubisoft are launching those 2 games as close to one another as they are.
Well, that might change, I guess, but I don't know.
I bet you, because we're going to get to...
Watch Dogs is the 20th.
You know what, though? The Assassin's Creed market is a really funny one, and I've never quite understood it, but I don't know if it's still the case, but it seems like the people who like that are the same sort of people who literally will just buy Call of Duty every year or just buy FIFA. They have managed to snatch that market if people don't really play games. And I think Watch Dogs will be like one that lots of people get because of the hype and because it's new and interesting. But I think Because they did this. I remember
there's room for both?
when 3 came out, it didn't perform maybe as well as they were hoping, but it still performed pretty damn well.
I think it was the best-selling one so far.
Discount what I've just said. But that's amazing, because I remember when it was coming out, it's like, why are you bringing it out now? There's so many games coming out. It was a really horrible time to bring it out, and I thought it was going to flop, but whoever these people are...
I think Assassin's Creed has found itself a slot. I think late October, early November is fine.
I bet you, not the reason why Watch Dogs exists, but I can definitely see a world where we get 1 year Watch Dogs, 1 year Assassin's Creed.
Possibly.
And they do it like that.
Yeah.
Because that's the model everybody wants now. I mean, Call of Duty did it with studios. EA were going to do it with different franchises until Call of Duty completely...
I wonder what
Medal of Honor.
I wonder what that Activision are going to do with all their studios, because they've... In a way, it's a nice way of doing it, because instead of just completely closing all these studios, they've basically gone, well, what you're doing isn't profitable anymore, so we're just going to put you on profitable projects. So they've had
closing them down.
Absolutely.
But I'm amazed that... Is it Beanox? They're the people that made Deadpool,
Spider-Man,
right?
And all that stuff.
No. That was High Moon.
That was High Moon. So Beanox
did Spider-Man.
I'm amazed, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but all those Spider-Man games have been so they're all right. You know, they're kind of run-of-the-mill, fun for...
6 or 7 out of 10?
Yeah, fun for an afternoon. And in the past, studios like that, under big companies, have been... killed quite quickly. So it's nice that they're not doing that. Doesn't mean they're not.
Well, this is the thing.
Future,
they are keeping them on,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't be surprised if some of them are working on Skylanders now as well. They keep them working on projects, but it just feels like, I don't know. It feels like Call of Duty is going to start.
But that's what I find amazing about Activision. I mean, it's literally... I mean, Destiny is not here yet, so let's discount that for the time being. It's just Skylanders and Call of Duty.
Well, this is the thing.
And World of Warcraft.
And Skylanders...
Yeah, but that exists in its own bubble, doesn't it? I mean, Activision didn't build that up. Activision...
Okay,
well, that's Blizzard
bought
as
that.
well.
Yeah.
And actually, the relationship
mean.
between Blizzard and Activision is very separate. They are two different companies vying for control over each other, actually.
Yeah, but it's been weird. World of Warcraft changed the moment Activision...
No, it didn't. It didn't.
I don't know.
It's in your head, honestly. I actually know a vast amount about the relationship between those two companies. I can't really talk about it to the extent. But they are very...
Right, Chris, 20 press-ups. Come on.
I'm just going to have to say, nope. If anything, you want to look at the company that owns them, ZeniMax. So, that's... Is it ZeniMax?
Really?
No, it's
No, it's
Bethesda.
not. It's Bethesda.
You mean Vivendi?
It's Activision, Blizzard, Vivendi.
Yeah.
Yes, Blizzard, Vivendi. But it's, funny enough, it's complicated. Everything's really
Oh,
complicated.
it's massive. But I mean, that's the thing. I find it amazing that, Activision, they do have 2 behemoths, and Destiny will be massive, I'm sure.
Borderlands.
But I still don't think it's going to be as big as some people think. But
The other thing about Destiny is you're not going to have Beanox working on it, Because if you turn around to Bungie and go, hey, can we get
They'll
Beanox
walk
to make
away.
some maps? They're going to go,
fuck you.
no,
Yeah.
no, you can't. So I just wonder what they're going to do with those guys, especially if Skylanders is great, but it's a kid's toy, and as we know from all kids' toys are fads because kids grow up fast, and you get to a point where you can have things that last for generations, like Star Wars, but you also have things that something new comes over and takes over. Pogs, they were gone in a flash.
The thing that I find perhaps most sad about that stuff is that they do have talented developers. Radical and Raven are both really good. It's just a shame
They're dead now.
Radical's
though,
dead.
right?
Well, it's still alive technically. It's like a skeleton
Oh,
crew
I thought they
essentially
killed it.
doing
Okay.
Call of Duty stuff basically. But it's like
Wait a
Raven's
minute,
games-
though. Were Radical that good?
Yeah, Radical were good.
Prototype, I didn't really...
Prototype wasn't, it lacked polish, but it was almost a shame that what was good about Radical was they had great ideas. Their execution wasn't all that good.
Yeah, maybe.
And actually, the first Prototype game was a game that was bustling with ideas.
Yeah, that's true.
Too many, and that was why it didn't really work.
But for the record as well, just quickly, I still don't want to close down. Even if the shit's developed,
of course.
I sound like I'm like, fuck you, close. Obviously, I don't think that.
But then the mistake they made with that was with Prototype 2, that what Activision said to them is, oh, we'll do that again, but make it polished.
Yeah.
So they actually went against their own grain. And instead of doing ideas, they did polish. And they did polish it, but what they ended up with was a really polished version that was exactly the same as the
with
first one.
different character,
And it was just because of that, it was like, this is boring. There was no excitement in it. When actually, I would have preferred to see them being a studio just cranking out wacky new
I'd prefer
things
to
every
see
year.
Scarface 2 that they were doing at one point. I mean, I don't know how well it would have sold. I imagine if they could have chipped in on the GTA market a little bit more, I think it would have done better than Prototype 2 did. But but no, I guess like Raven, they're a good Singularity was a really good game.
What's the other game?
It's just sent out to die.
Raven made another game that
It
was
was
good.
a solid 8 out of 10, that game.
Yeah, Raven
Loved
did
it.
the X-Men Wolverine game, which for what it
That's
was,
probably one I
it
like.
was okay.
No, I like the
for a
X-Men Wolverine game.
For a
It's really
licensed
fun.
action
It was actually
brawler.
quite a lot of fun there. The combat was
I liked
good.
it, yeah, the boss fights were shit, but other than that, it was a good
The
game.
Singularity was awesome.
I
It
know
actually
it's
had a really good story.
Yeah.
The ending, I thought, was brilliant. It was like really hokey stuff. Like, It was just like wonky
Did they do
B-roll.
Wolfenstein as well? Raven?
Yeah, they did. And you know what I like about Raven shooters? It's this really hard thing to define, but they feel like 1990s
I was
shooters.
just about to say they feel like old school shooters.
Yeah, they feel like, and even though they're 3D, you feel like you're playing like Duke Nukem again. You know,
Yeah,
and actually,
no,
it was a
true.
shame that everyone was like, "Oh, Duke Nukem's coming back." It's like you don't need that, guys. Play Singularity, play Wolfenstein.
ridiculous guns that are fun to use.
There's something about them, yeah.
Yeah,
You just it feels like playing a game in the 1990s.
yeah.
And it's just
But
really
it doesn't feel
nostalgic.
dated. It doesn't feel
No.
dated. It just feels.
And it feels a bit shit. Like, you know, they weren't good. They weren't great. They're not the sort of games.
They were good.
I think they were good, but like there were lots of things about Wolfenstein that was really poor.
Wolfenstein was the weakest one, I think, that they did.
Definitely. But I mean, and in Singularity, I remember at one point there were these giant spider enemies that when they died, they just collapsed. It was like in Earth Defense Force 2017 or whatever. Like it was just like these really dodgy models. You can kind of tell that. But I love that. It's something I've talked about so many times. But it's this idea of somebody going, "We want to put giant spiders in this bit," and somebody going, "All right, well, how can we do it?" And then they do it, and then they go, "Well, we can't have them in the game because it looked ridiculous when they die." And then they just go, "Well, can we animate them properly and all this stuff?" And it's like, "Well, no, it's going to take too long." And so they just go,
that just sounds
"All
really
right,
hard."
well, we just won't put them in." And so many games, I think, fall victim to that. Of someone has an awesome idea, and they go, "Well, if we can't do it perfectly, we won't do it." And like stuff like Dark Souls is, I bang on it all the time, but that's an awesome example of it being like, "Can we put it in?" And someone going, "Oh, I don't know if we can do it perfectly." It's like, fuck it, should we just do it anyway?
Enemies in Dark Souls die in ridiculous
Yeah,
fashions.
it's just ragdoll physics.
It's fine.
But they want it to have ragdoll physics for various reasons. But then it also means there's loads of things it doesn't work. And I know that if it was a big Western studio that made it, they'd be like, guys, the enemies in Dark Souls, when they die, their legs get stuck to your crotch and you drag them around.
There's this weird thing that when you walk over them, they kind of
They get stuck to you, and you'll end up like dragging enemies for like 15 feet, and they'll just go, well, maybe we just have to make the enemies disappear. And that's what would happen.
Yeah.
They would go, we can't do that, it's ridiculous. Whereas Dark Souls just goes, oh yeah, but it's cool. Like it does cool stuff, so we leave it.
Yeah,
like
it's all right.
I've always found that enemies in ragdoll physics, they always lose their weight as soon as they're dead.
I know.
No,
And
it's
it's,
true.
brilliant. It's fantastic.
It's really odd, like Dead Space, you're just kicking around this dead dude.
you
at
have
low
moments
level, like,
sometimes
what?
where you're like dragging around a giant and he's wobbling around behind you in Dark Souls. It's ridiculous.
This isn't real life.
It's the sort of thing that would have been completely ironed out in QA if it had that level of Western QA. But it also would have been far less interesting because of it. So
It would have lost its personality.
yeah, lost its detail. What have you been playing this week, Simon?
I've been playing Mario and Luigi Dream Team.
Oh, you just fucking always doing that, aren't you?
Superstar Saga.
Is it? Is Dream Team the new one?
Yeah.
I get confused with all the names.
I've
Yeah.
heard it's
Luigi goes to
really
sleep.
good.
I'm put it like this. It made me laugh out loud within, I'd say, 90 seconds of it starting.
Amazing.
Where it just completely went. I know it's a Mario and Luigi game, but they are
Those have the Superstar Saga games. I've only played
hilarious.
this. Really
They're all
funny.
hilarious. The translation, they get such a good translation team to make sure it does it justice. But now, I'm not saying Mario and Luigi's ever been based in reality, but these games just throw the idea of reality out the window so much. Like, and spoiler if you really want it to, don't want anything ruined. But at one point, they're going away on this ship, and they've forgotten Luigi. And and Luigi runs out the castle and he jumps and he misses the ship and he falls. And he just breaststrokes through the air back onto the ship. Never explained. Never explained. Just does it. Sits down on the ship. It's absolutely bonkers. I've only been playing it for about, I'd say, a couple of hours. So it's still, obviously, it's a big RPG. So it's still early days. Because the weakest one for me was, I can't remember which bloody order they go in, but was the one they released, the last one they released, which you had Mario and
Bowser's
Luigi.
Castle? Was that?
I think, yeah, that one. The
Bowser's
one where it was less RPG, more platform. Well, it was kind of like a weird segue between the two, and it just didn't feel. Because the other ones feel really unique, and this one feels like they've gone. You know what? Let's stick to the four. It feels a lot like Superstar Saga, which I think is the best one as well.
I can't remember which one I played, but I think that they had really, really strong early and mid game. But I found that the problem with those is what they did is they got around the fact that it was quite a simple RPG.
Yeah.
By making it so that all the special moves you have like button inputs and
That's
stuff.
right, yeah.
So you can always do more damage. And it keeps introducing new types of special moves. So you have to do different things.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And I found that kept it really interesting, exciting for like the first half of the game.
Yeah.
But then it became like all the new stuff you got was like upgraded versions of the original ones.
yeah.
And at that point, I found
that's
it
fair.
started to be like.
And it relies on
So
its
it's the same
dialogue a
routine.
lot in those periods as well, because it keeps you laughing, it keeps you entertained that way. And again, I think Superstar Saga actually managed that the best. I mean, I can't comment. I don't know how this one deals with that because I'm playing it, I'd say maximum 2 hours. But I can already tell you that it's suitably stupid enough, and yet doesn't take itself seriously in the story, but definitely takes itself seriously in the mechanics to the point where you've got this kind of nice back and forth. It's a perfect mobile game, like on the go, because it's just so easy to play. And it's very even the way it introduces the tutorial. Like you can skip the tutorial entirely if you've played the games before, But I did the tutorial just because I knew the dialogue would be so ridiculous, and it was absolutely hilarious the way he tells you to do it. But it's so fun. I mean, it's definitely more of the same, but it feels like they've genuinely sat back and gone, well, what works so well with the last ones that we should definitely make sure that maybe we missed out on the last game here. And it looks really nice. That's the other thing. The other one was DS, wasn't it? This is the first 3DS one.
Yeah.
I get confused because obviously I played the last one by DS.
I think it definitely is.
I'm pretty 99% sure. And they've redone all the character models and stuff, and obviously the 3D. It was a really good looking game. Like I genuinely sort of at one point just stopped and thought, am I kind of making this up? I was like, no, genuinely, it's a really, really well made game.
I do think that the best console of this year is the 3DS.
Oh, massively.
By quite a margin.
It could be the best one of the generation by the time I sit back. I love it. I love my 3DS like a son.
Yeah, because I remember at first the 3DS was awful. I bought it and then
Like
it
a
just...
son.
You just said that. That's crazy. That's just
one picked up on it as well.
I love my 3DS.
At least it didn't say like my son.
Like
so I
his
like
son.
to have it like put it to bed.
Well, no, but that was implied.
That's true.
I might have to Photoshop a picture of you holding a giant 3DS like it's a baby.
Fine.
Possibly
I'll
like
be
the
happy
start
with
of Lion
that.
King, perhaps.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No, it's fine. Don't release lineup for 2013. But I mean, the review will go up on Friday, so I've got a lot of game to do. But I'll just play it. I think it's about 15 hours, so I'll just hammer it over today and tomorrow. But it's one of those games where I can't get enough of it already. You know, it just doesn't take itself too seriously, which so many games do now. And you're so po-faced, and it's like, oh, for goodness sake. And like I said, I only had a few battles, but it's kind of more of the same. You know, it's the stuff that if you played Paper Mario before in the past, you know, carries over. And obviously, you got the whole doubling up with Luigi, so all your attacks are mental. It's all time button pressing and stuff like that.
I gave up with Sticker Star in the end. I know you
Sticker
like
Star,
I
I
heard
did
Sticker Star
like
was
it.
rubs.
It wasn't rubbish. It just wasn't a Paper Mario game.
That's caught on. This Dave, you started this.
No,
rubs
I've been
trend.
saying rubs
It's-
for ages.
Rubs has been going for like
I-
a decade now.
Yeah, man.
And
It's older than you,
It's because you're from the weird north.
I know, but I came down and I started saying it ironically, and now it just slips into conversations.
Even
You
the
know,
racing
You
pigeons
know
are saying
nothing,
up your
Chris
way.
Snow.
The Sticker Star was just, they took away
I know
everything that
they're
was good.
different, but
They are different games, but they're based in the same.
I remember Gaston
pool of
telling me
ideas.
about Sticker Star for a long time. I think we were walking around a city in America, and he just spent a long time explaining to me how much he hated that game, and then continued to play it. Though he was playing it all the time.
And that's the thing. Here's the thing. The best one, in my opinion, is Thousand Year Door on the GameCube,
amazing.
which I think
great.
is probably the second best game on the GameCube.
I never finished that. I never finished any of them.
It's in my top 5 games ever, I think, Thousand Year Door. I think it's an incredible game. But the reason that was so good is because unlike a Mario story where it's find the princess or whatever, it had a proper storyline. It had subplots and a main plot and characters that would come and go and who you get to learn. Now, for whatever reason, Sticker Star decided that wasn't the best way to do it, and it broke it down more into Mario levels with RPG mechanics that weren't actually RPG mechanics. They got rid of all those elements. So it was like a mishmash of all the Mario games you played before. It was like a jack of all trades, master of none. And the whole point of Paper Mario is supposed to be like the weird sort of offshoot of the main Mario games where anything is allowed. Whereas it felt a lot more, what's the word? A lot more safe and a lot more what you'd expect from a Mario game they're trying to market to lots of people. So it's almost like kind of this sort of weird special version of Mario that we all love and nobody else understood or got had gone away. And that was why it was so sad. But it was still a very, very addictive game. It still had a lot of great qualities to
Like I
it.
say, it's sad. I just imagine you kind of just having this little like shed a little tear. Where'd you go, Mario?
That's the son I gave away. Leave. You're disowned by
Never
the family.
darken my door again.
But that is what's so good about Dream Team is that this feels like they've gone, no, let's make sure we'll learn from Sticker Star. We've learned from what we did on the DS one. Let's keep this as ingrained in the sort of
keep it weird.
yeah, and also keep it ingrained in the mechanics that we've built up since Superstar Saga on the is that the GBA Superstar Saga?
It was, yeah.
It was. That was when I played.
Flipping order. So I really like it, and at the moment, although early days, I have big hopes. This
Wow.
could be very good.
And we're having the
indeed.
review on Friday, right?
On Friday. Yeah.
Hakuna
Go up on
Matata.
Friday. Yeah,
Hakuna
what a wonderful
Matata.
phrase.
What a wonderful phrase. What a wonderful console.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, have you playing anything else?
That's fair enough. I've been playing.
Good monkeys.
I've been playing Gun Monkeys. Yeah,
Gun Monkeys.
Chris been playing. Gun Monkeys is a really funny game, right? It's basically it's a remake of a game called Gibbage, which is a game I used to play when I was a kid with my brother on the same keyboard. We used to both play on different sides of the keyboard.
Oh, God.
Really old school PC gaming, and it's weird because even though it is a remake of it, it feels now, and I think that's the way that games have evolved. It actually feels. At the time, it felt very fast-paced, whereas now, when you watch it being played, it looks very slow.
Yeah, it's because when you jump around, it's quite floaty. It does feel fast-paced when you're playing it.
When you're playing it, it feels really fast-paced. But when you watch a video of it, and actually we have got a video of it up, you can watch of me and me and Brat playing, and Brat wins. He
He just did a
more
little
often than
fist bump
usual.
type thing there.
Think that means
I
he
don't know
might
what
have
he was
won.
doing. Like, I thought you were having a heart attack or something. Smacked your heart a few times.
Just get the old ticker going. And what was the meaning of that fist bump?
I was
Chest
I was
bump.
telling Dave that I'd won.
Yeah, he did win actually. I
Yeah.
think the little bastard.
There's a
Only because we
spoiler.
agreed
So
that
humble
it'd be,
as well.
Yeah, we need to keep a fair balance on these head-to-head videos. That's the thing.
Well, I was absolutely owning you the day before when we played it at lunch.
Sure.
But basically, the way it works is that you both have to jump around this little arena, and they're randomly generated. You're playing monkeys. You have to collect energy cubes and take them back to your base. And you basically have the scores, these 2 tickers that constantly go down. And whenever you collect cubes and take them back, your number goes up. And whenever you kill them, then the other monkey, their number goes down.
Yeah, and you need to get them to 0.
And it's more like actually when you get killed, you're out of the game for like 5 seconds, and a lot can happen in 5 seconds.
Yeah, I think we had one game where one of us won.
You can win within 10
in, like,
seconds.
Yeah, just because if you get killed straight away and you're locked out for 5 seconds, that can be it.
You can literally just
And then
you
there's
kill
other
them,
games
get
that
your
last
cubes
for,
back,
like,
bang, done.
5 or 6 minutes.
And it is this war of contrition. Is that the right phrase?
War of attrition.
I don't know what that
Maybe.
means.
I
I'm
think
just
it's
saying shit now.
War of
Ambition.
contrition.
War of
War
monkey
of ambition.
bananas.
Yeah, War of Monkey Bananas. That's more accurate. That's something I can relate to. But it's this thing of it can be like maybe a rugby match or something where it can just not rugby, American football. Right, I'm getting there. Where you
Matt,
cricket.
never go into sports, man.
Yeah,
never go into sports. It's dangerous.
I know
That's
you're saying. I'm
another
with it. I'm
example
with
of
it.
me not knowing what I'm talking about. But yeah, you can have this thing where it's just this tussle, like a tug of war, or you can have stuff where you just flatten them immediately.
American football works because they're going back,
Yeah,
and,
back and
forth.
forth.
Yeah, I like it.
But it's really, really good fun, and it's a shame because at the moment the netcode for it is a bit dodge.
I don't think they released some kind of patch yesterday. To
Yes.
stop the disconnects, but there are still some other problems.
They're working on it. Basically, it's out now. You can buy it, you can play it, but they have issues. But they are working on them. And actually, when we put the video up, the coder guy, because it's very small team working on it. He was like, "We're fixing that. There's a patch for that tonight." So they are aware of the problems and they're fixing it. And the only other problem with it really is it does have a very small community, which means you do have to wait around for a couple of minutes to get a match. But it's nice because when you're in a match, you can just keep hitting rematch and play like quite a few in a row. And it's really addictive. It's funny because when you watch it, like I say, it does look quite slow, but when you're in it, it's amazing. And I love the bombs, the Bomberman style bombs.
Because if you put a bomb down, it goes horizontal across the entire arena
And vertical, yeah. So it's this thing of like you drop a bomb and I don't know what the cooldown is, but you can drop bomb like every 10 seconds or something.
Yeah.
And they're amazing because they're like instant kill if you hit someone with it.
The other guy will be running back to his base to drop his cubes off, and if you can line it up horizontally, you can kill him from the other side of the arena without knowing before he gets back. And that's the skill.
It's lovely. And also the fact that there's 2 things I love about it. Because it's only a 2-player game, when you kill someone with a bomb, it goes, because there's no hurry, it can do this wonderful slow-mo moment where you see their monkey explode into a shower of blood. And also just the fact that you can't see the bombs very well when you drop the bombs. They're just these tiny black cubes with little aerials.
You have to try and do it as subtly as possible.
So basically there are some areas where if you drop a bomb in the sky or somewhere obvious, people will see it.
Yep.
But there are actually even bits of scenery you can drop them behind. So if you get smart, you can... So it's all about kind of putting it in at a point where they're not looking maybe, or putting it somewhere careful.
When we were playing, when I dropped a bomb, I'd try and carry on my movements like I hadn't dropped a bomb, do something...
Yeah.
Because if you draw attention to yourself, if you just see me
There's
suddenly
surprise.
jump
Chris
in the
being
way,
underhanded.
then it's like that guy's just dropped a bomb. But you have to try and everything's fine. You're not about to die. It's okay.
And actually, the best way to do it is not to run away. It's almost to drop your bomb and then
just
wait
hover above
just
it.
before it blows up, jump out the way. It's really twitchy. It's really skillful, but it's just loads of fun. It's got loads of really old school weapon styles and loads of really old school power ups. It's just the sort of thing you can pick up and play immediately. And you can play co-op on the same system as well, which is a lot of fun. Also, it's all of the voice acting in it is done by the actor Kevin Eldon. And
Kevin Eldon?
He's that comedian who did loads of Big Train stuff.
Why does he?
Why not? Yeah. He's got an amazing voice.
There we go.
I love the fact on the sound options there's a tick box which is just called the actor Kevin Eldon. Whether or not you want him in it.
If you're born that name, you're going to be an actor, aren't you? You're the actor Kevin
But he's
Eldon.
amazing because he says things like there's one of the power ups basically makes it so the other monkey doesn't have arms for 5 seconds, which means they can't shoot, pick anything up, or drop bombs. And Kevin Eldon just goes, "Oh no, you don't have any arms. How are you going to do anything?" It is insane, and it's a lot of fun. Like I say, there are caveats. It's a bit ropey in some regards, and it still needs stuff being fixed. But if you love old school little action games, it's really, really good fun.
Kapow.
Also,
Gun monkeys.
I've been playing more Dota 2. Surprise, surprise. But
It's
I will
real
mention
now.
it today because
Dota 2's real.
Slipped out
It's
of
not
beta
fake anymore.
very
Shit
quietly
just
last
got
night.
real. It slipped out of beta while I was playing.
Did it really?
Did it feel entirely different?
Did it all crash and then
I remembered
start
where I
again?
was. It's a shame now because I've got so good at it that I won't get match made with all of the noobs, so I can't crush them. I'm tempted to start a second Steam account just so I can be like
start again.
How long has it been in beta now? It feels
a year, I think.
I think it might be more than that. I feel
probably,
like it's been forever.
I think maybe it was a year ago.
Since the dawn of time.
But I mean, I kind of feel like I've got to the point now when I'm talking about Dota, I feel like I'm giving a speech as a best man at a wedding or something.
That's all right.
I feel like
I've got a son, you've got a
It's
wife.
a lovely game, and I'm just so proud to be with her. Really, I can't believe I met her.
Wait, you're the best man, and you're proud to be with the wife. Oh God,
this
wedding's gone terrible.
It's a wedding that could go down in the annals of history.
It's gone south, but I figure we've got some of my friends here, so I might as well just
Everyone take a step left.
their weddings off.
Keep going.
Admittedly, it's weird for some of the family here, but we can carry on. I mean, maybe
600 hours. That's a lot. That's a lot of relationships.
600 hours. And actually, I'm making a little video today explaining why Dota 2 is awesome and why you might care about it. But I mean, mainly the fact that I've put 600 hours into it. I'm a fully grown man. I don't do that stuff anymore.
But you do with Dota. Your wife.
And also, I mean, this is a point I really touched on very lightly in the video, and I'll mention again here, is the fact that the only other games I've ever spent 600 hours playing are games that tease you with a tangible sense of like progression. Yeah. But most of them fake it, and actually most of them, the games I've put that much time into, are RPGs, and they fake their progression with gradual unlocks, or in the case of like World of Warcraft, something new areas. And you get to a point when you hit that mark, about 600 hours, you kind of tend to realize it's all fake.
Yeah.
And all RPGs are fake. You're just crunching numbers, and as soon as you pull away the curtain and see that and see what you're doing, tend to find that the luster goes.
Yeah.
And I think that realization that you can tease people along with carrots is something that has damaged games substantially, especially when looking in terms of like free to play, Facebook and all that stuff. It's been a real realization after the first Modern Warfare game, when people went, oh my God, if we do this prestige stuff, we can keep people going forever doing the same thing. And it's a false profit.
Like with Dota 2, I think you may have unlocked some character skins. I don't know if some of those
are you unlock some,
but you've got every single character from the start.
Yes. I mean, this is the thing, is you do unlock stuff, but it's aesthetic and it's pointless and it's trinkets and it's not why you play. And actually, a lot of people I know don't even look at any of that stuff. They're like, oh, you've got a new hat. They're just like, don't care. I think that's what I love about it, is it's something that's so pure. People don't go out and play football so they can rank up to the next football level and so they can prestige, or, they play football because it's just a consistently pure and simple sport. And that's why I think it's something that is going to be around for years, because it's like, I've never played something this long without there being a sense of progression.
Yeah.
The only sense of progression is I gradually notice that I'm getting better at it. And that on its own is the reward. And that's
the fact that can be enough. And I think Dota 2 is one of the examples of like just the best way to handle free to play. Obviously, it's got this ridiculous audience. I was trying to download it this morning actually, and there was almost 300,000 people playing like right now.
Yep.
And you have to have that size of audience to be able to get away with their kind of, we only sell aesthetic stuff.
But they make so much money because people love a character that much. They'll spend a tenner on a hat.
But imagine other companies trying to do this. They just...
Oh, they can't.
You'd have like free characters to start with, and then it'd be pay to unlock.
They would take the piss.
The number one rule...
Do.
Well, that's the thing. The number one rule of having a free-to-play game that gets it right is one that most publishers don't like, because the rule is really simple. Your game has to be fucking awesome.
And if it's competitive, it's got to be fair. You can't hide things away for people that have paid more.
That's it.
You'll turn people off immediately.
You have to have a game that is absolutely awesome and perfectly balanced. And you cannot... And the problem is most people don't have the ability to do it. Most game studios don't make games that are just straight up good enough to do free-for-play.
Or they can guarantee an audience big enough to get enough money in. Like, you have to have that... You have to be someone like Valve who can bring in 300,000 people.
Well, it's fascinating
on a Wednesday morning.
I've heard that I've heard rumours from industry people that the only reason that Valve even created Dota 2 as a sequel was because they knew the Dota community still playing this game on a ropey Warcraft 3 client. Still, loads of people were playing it on Warcraft 3, which is crazy to think. Like, people are still playing Warcraft 3. What the hell?
Fantastic.
They realised that if they did it, they would get 1 million, 2 million new subs to Steam. So literally, well, not subs, but members. So basically, it's almost like they literally invested all this money to make this simply because they knew they'd get 2 million new users on Steam, and they might be able to sell them more games in the future. And I think that just says so much about the way that the thing is evolving. of giving people a free game just so they'll come into your game shop.
Yeah.
I kind of wish that's what you mentioned before, but Project Spark. I wish there was a bit more of that about Project Spark, because they've already started talking about you have to purchase certain elements of it. I wish they used that as an example of, hey, come buy the Xbox One, and this is something you can start playing around with immediately. It's not what they're going to do.
It's a thing.
Project
Project Spark has the potential to actually capture some of that Steam magic, I think, especially if they can do it. Like, the way the Steam Workshop works. You might be familiar with it. You're not familiar with this, probably.
Steam Workshop,
Yeah.
I know of its basic form.
Yeah. It's basic. What about its advanced
I don't know about its evolved form. Now.
Right, you go.
Workshop, it's evolving.
Just the way that people can create stuff and then they get a cut.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
they sell it, Steam gets a little cut, but then they get most of the
Some of
money.
the Team Fortress 2 hats as well have done really well.
Well,
I
there are
think,
people
for
who've bought
certain
houses off the back of selling a hat on Team Fortress.
We're in the wrong business, Simon.
Oh, we're in the wrong business. You've
I
got
don't
to-
understand anything.
No, I don't. Everything is crazy.
Hat on Team
But no, if they did something like that, imagine if in Project Spark it allowed you to make your own little mini games or mini RPGs and then sell it. Imagine if you could go, I've made a full RPG within this, and you can sell it through Project Spark for $5 and Microsoft take 50p or whatever. If they actually did something like that and actually made it a free-to-play, but made it actually a self-publishing game platform thing, that could be awesome.
Yeah.
But they probably won't.
They won't.
'cause
Oh, they
they're incredibly
definitely
backwards. Talking
of that,
Talking of that. Yeah, news cannon. Fire it up.
Big talking point today is the changes, the price change.
We can't go on to news yet.
Why not?
We haven't chatted about Grand Theft Auto 5.
Oh, God, yeah.
Here we go.
Oh,
Don't act like that. The biggest game of the year, boy.
Can we not do that at the end?
Do whatever you want. I thought we had it in sections.
Well-
you want to break the sections rules? Fine by me. But
my
don't
little
come
wall
crying when all the audience go, I can't handle this. The
Simon's
sections are nuts. They
Simon's
don't make
nuts.
any sense
Simon,
anymore.
sit down. It's okay, man.
Please put the gun down.
Put Dave down. Just put him down.
Crazy.
No,
All right, let's not explode heads. Oh, we will explode heads.
No, Dave.
Yeah.
He's right. There is logic and order in this world.
All right.
And it was
I'm
inappropriate. of you to-
Chaotic.
Put me in my place.
You
Oh,
whipped
no,
out
I
your.
didn't mean to do that.
God.
You
I'm
whipped,
gonna
out,
leave.
you whipped out your news cannon without.
I'm off.
I think you you provoked him though.
He's
There,
gone.
Matt. You're partly to blame.
I'm sorry, Brad, but he pulled out his news
I was-
cannon without asking for permission.
I was
it
only
was
joking.
inappropriate.
I was only joking around. I didn't mean to cause a fuss.
Well, he didn't know he was going to do that. He just got his news cannon out and started firing it, and we're like, "Whoa,
Whoa, that's a big news cannon.
yeah!" I mean, I was impressed, but hey, Dave,
How's it going, man?
I'm sorry about that.
Come back in.
Sorry
Right,
about
what are we doing?
that. So anyway, we're
Are
going
we
to get back to
booming with the
GTA.
cannon or we...
We're going to GTA 5 it briefly.
All right, I apologise. I was only joking around. I didn't mean to cause a fuss.
just put him down.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
It's
Good
fine.
GTA 5. Looks a bit good, doesn't it?
Oh, no, you're right. We shouldn't have forgotten about it. The problem is, right, and we were talking about this earlier, is I think when some people go, oh, GTA 5, and I do that a bit, it's because, right, it's not that it's not great. It's going to be absolutely awesome. It's just the fact that really there's not much to talk about because we know what it's going to be.
I
It's
know,
gonna be
but I think some
GTA.
people may have downloaded this podcast to hear what we think about the trailer.
Well,
That's
I
just
think-
my thinking.
Are
That's
you
just
trying
my
to say that
thought
our
process.
reaction video didn't cover every single aspect of the GTA 5
Yes.
trailer? I mean, that
Dogs,
was just...
jets, yes.
Yep.
Online,
Just
money,
high-pitched squeals.
stock markets.
Go on, what do you think then?
I think it looked amazing.
Me too.
News cannon. No, I just it is much more, and I've seen it running as well. And you kind of realise that, you know, given the size of the world and how much they've still got left to show, there's so much there we don't know, so much there to find out.
I'm so excited by it, but it's almost like in the same way that with some games I really want to lap up all the information I can. I actually kind of like the surprises, and I like that in some regards Rockstar do keep it all in their trousers right to the last minute and they don't tell you what's happening, which I like. But I mean, some of the teas, like the fact that you're going to have like the whole internet thing within the world. But the thing is, it's all stuff I knew, because it's like if they stepped back in any degree from GTA 4, people wouldn't accept that.
That's the thing. I'm surprised that they actually put a video out because there's nothing. It doesn't teach you anything new about.
Seeing all the three characters interact is always cool.
And
I like the bit when they smashed it.
But we
one.
knew that's how it worked anyway. If
I know,
you've been
but-
following GTA 5, which
True.
I imagine everyone
We haven't
has.
seen the actual, like, when they zoom out with the kind of Google Maps thing and
but
zoom
they've-
down.
they've always spoken about
we
it.
know that's going to happen, but it's very cool to see.
In a
exactly how I
way,
pictured it.
the problem I have with it is because they said all gameplay. It doesn't
It's about-
actually.
yeah.
It doesn't actually take any of my fears and remove them. Actually, like I do have slight worries, like this whole plan your own heist thing. That sounds like a new thing for them, right? They've always done very scripted stuff, and because of that, I wonder how
Well,
good
it's
that's going to
polished,
be.
yeah.
And actually, if it does end up being something that's almost like a Duplo style, this bit, that starts to get quickly repetitive, that actually might break the world for me a little bit and make it feel less immersive. So I've got concerns about that. And actually, the fact they had that incredibly well-scripted section with the sniper and swapping between, that actually even makes me just worry even more. I'm going, okay, well, my thoughts about this actually maybe not being... I don't know. Maybe it's going to be amazing. But the problem is, because it wasn't really a gameplay trailer, it was like they occasionally just whapped a HUD in the corner and went, yeah, this bit's gameplay. For like, there was probably about 6 seconds of gameplay in the whole thing. I don't know. I think it's going to be amazing. But as you say, there's no information there. We knew about dogs. We knew about jets. We knew about parachutes. And weirdly, like, once you've...
I see what you mean, but I don't want them to tell me too much at the same time.
No, I don't want them to.
I like the fact that I could just see that mission where the guy, one's in a helicopter, the other one abseils down, smashes through the window, then the third guy does the sniping. I just think that's cool. Got me excited.
Like, the video reminded me of what they did for Red Dead Redemption and Max Payne. They put those kind of almost introductory videos out explaining the mechanics, explaining how it works.
It's weird, isn't it?
It's like, for those games, that works, because people don't know what Red Dead Redemption is. People have probably forgotten what Max Payne is. The Rockstar audience have probably forgotten Max Payne. GTA, though, everyone knows everything.
I think they're just cool videos, though. I quite like
cool.
it done.
They are cool, but it didn't get me any more excited for the game, whereas the old trailers did.
That's it, I think. I think the thing is, and it's not having a go at the game in any degree, I think the reason I find all of the repeated hype and trawling over trailers and digging out details and looking for stuff about the game really tedious is because I'm already as excited as I can be.
I'm not sure I need any more foreplay.
And actually, I don't want any more because it might tease me too much. And I might have the Assassin's Creed 3 effect if suddenly it comes out and I just go, I don't care.
That's the thing.
So in a way,
usually when it comes out too soon, people do care. Sometimes it causes arguments, breaks up things.
It's true. I'm at peak.
But that's good. But you don't have to watch trailers. You can ignore the trailers.
No. Well, professionally you can't. But but no, it's really hard to explain. I think it's really hard to explain why it's not apathy, because my God, that game's going to come out. I think the thing is,
most anticipated
they
game.
literally, those trailers are nice, but they're just a reminder. It's just like, jets, big mountains.
I guess they can't do much else now, though. I mean, they have to continue their plan. But I mean, unless they want to spoil something huge, which they don't usually, then I guess it's just more of...
It's because the thing is, they can't show you what makes that game amazing. Actually, as a format, if you literally boil down to it and go, what is this? You go, well, it's a game where you can drive around a real city and do some missions, shoot some people. That sounds really boring. I think thematically, GTA is really boring. And that's only because it's been done by so many games now. And actually, what will make that game incredible, you can't really show. It's the little moments.
Yeah, it's the execution
radio,
as well,
it's the feel, it's the ambience.
They do it better than everyone else as well.
And,
that's the thing.
They always show you like the cutscenes from the plot and stuff, and they show you two gangster dudes going bah, 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 at each other. And it's like, those bits are cool, but it's not what makes the game awesome. It's when Phil Collins comes on the radio when you're in a helicopter.
That's the thing. I think if they had shown exactly the same as what they showed yesterday, but in a longer 20-minute video that kind of gives you time to take it all in and shows those little moments in between those big highlights.
I think that would have been too much.
But I would have been able to appreciate it a lot more for what it is. In that video, it kind of felt like we're doing this, and we're explaining it. And even though you take it all in, you don't really appreciate how it all fits in.
I think what it is,
in the overall...
is what makes GTA awesome and better everything else is the details. It's the tiny details. And really what that trailer was all about and all the stuff they've shown so far has been scope. It's been going, look at this fucking mountain.
Yeah.
And that's cool, but the problem is that, again, just raises concerns. I'm like, but is this running on current gen? How well is it going to run?
PlayStation 3 again.
Is it going to be choppy?
They said it was all
I don't know. Like, I just wonder, is that real time? Has that been?
I also think there has to be a little bit of this. Wasn't necessarily for us.
No,
this was just your GTA boys who are already salivating
what
in
do
the
you mean
mouth.
it wasn't for us?
Well, like if you're a GTA boy and all you want to do this year is play GTA, that would have just sent you over the edge. That would have just sent you. And I know they're already involved, but it's something to get them even more excited.
You're right.
And I think
I think they know that, and that's why they have that almost ridiculous voiceover of going, GTA 5 will be a video game that you can play on your entertainment system.
Exactly. Yeah, I just think that will have. I mean, those people are already buying it, but now they're like, they're touching their penises and other.
You're completely right.
Genital areas.
But I think that's the thing is because
I regret saying that. I'm sorry. I take that back. That's horrible.
It's fine. There's nothing wrong with touching genitals.
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what's going on.
The most exciting moment from that trailer was at the very end, the tiny little glimpse of the multiplayer.
Yeah.
There's someone standing in a building looking down, seeing all the the guys driving cars underneath, and a jet flies past.
I really hope they don't naff that up because
God,
honestly,
it could be so
I
good.
worry.
I don't want it to go on.
My worry about Rockstar is that their egos have become so big that I worry that they won't have addressed the problems with GTA 4 enough. That's my biggest worry, is that they'll just go, GTA 4 was fucking awesome, what are you talking about? And the multiplayer was so close to being the best multiplayer game I'd ever played.
Yep.
And yet, it felt like they just hadn't done it properly.
I don't want to play it.
It felt like they hadn't put any love or care into it. They'd just gone, it kind of works, done. And if they literally just, stuff like Cops and Robbers, if they'd just given that slightly more form, slightly more thought into it, it could have been the best thing ever. When as it was, it felt like a sandbox that was incredible, but you had to make your own entertainment in it. And you know what? All you need to do is just guide people slightly and give them things to do. And that could have been a game I just play constantly.
I think maybe
for
they
years.
have. The fact that they're differentiating between the two. It's not GTA 5 multiplayer. It's Grand Theft Auto Online.
I think...
And I wonder how that's going to form going forward. Are they going to split that off into its own... with next gen, is it going to be a downloadable thing that is just completely side to
I don't want it to be one big persistent online offline world though. I don't want it that. I want my offline world to be me having fun.
Yeah, I don't think
I'm bought into this yet. I just want to enjoy my single player experience.
I agree. I don't like it. It's the same thing with all these things. It's the same thing with MMOs. It's just like they're cool in some ways when you're doing a joint dungeon
If
raid.
I decide to do it, that's fine. But if I want a Sunday afternoon, just want to chill out, go muck around in my GTA world, I don't want.
That's the thing about Watch
it's like
Dogs,
people
though,
want
isn't it?
like
I don't
Skyrim.
like it. I don't like
Well,
it.
it looks cool in Watch Dogs, but
I don't want it though.
it's going to get annoying the
Yeah.
third or fourth time someone bloody jumps into my game and tries to kill me.
Exactly.
But
Yeah, well, you say that, but that happens in Dark Souls, and it never stops getting old.
I guess you could opt out.
But I guess what I'm trying to say is that it was awesome, and I think for the people it's trying to reach, really, who are much wider than us, you've got to bear in mind it's one of those games that isn't just about hardcore gamers by any margin.
Yeah.
But for me, it could have honestly just been one of the House brothers, just like GTA 5 gameplay trailer. It could have just been him in front of a camera on a webcam, just going, GTA 5 has got fucking dogs and jets in it. It's out on this day.
Jets.
See you later, bitches. And I'd just be like, I still want that game.
All right.
The outcome of how my kind of like
it
on
would be
a
that much
graph of
different.
how excited I am would be exactly the same as what happened yesterday.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
It's more like all they're doing is they're just keeping it stable. But it's going to be fucking
Just in case anyone's forgotten about
Also,
GTA 5.
don't forget, in their original plan, GTA's out now. Yeah. So that trailer's actually something extra they would have had to have made. So, you know, there's that to think about. No, I mean, well, maybe not. Maybe they released it earlier. But right now, in the original plan, GTA was out.
But I think that's the thing. I think that's the thing for me. It's like, I probably should be playing this. Now, it feels like I should be playing it by now, and it just feels like...
Really? No,
yeah, for whatever reason, obviously they've had to delay it, but I just feel like it's taking that a little bit too long now, where it's like, all right, like what Chris said, I'm done with the foreplay, just give it to me now. Like,
just give it to me, baby.
Chris wasn't quite what I said.
I think it is.
I think it's the heat and the sunshine, but this has been the most sexually charged podcast that I've ever recorded on.
And on that note, let's launch the news cannon.
Yeah.
Oh, can I go
Launch the news cannon.
Can I boom all my boulders your way? Big talking point. We're talking about free to play. Apparently, Xbox Live isn't that free anymore. It's less free than it used to be because the prices are even more than before.
Well, we all moaned. We all said we didn't want Microsoft points.
You say that, but I was more than happy with this.
When it's the
silly
raw
money.
we. I like them saying I like the Microsoft points.
Oh, here we go.
What?
Here we
I
go
like them.
again.
It was silly money. Silly money.
Yeah.
No, you can't. You can't do that.
You
Have
can.
silly money.
Do it again, Matt.
silly money. Silly money.
The problem with Microsoft points I always had.
I'm
was
waving
that
my arms in the air while I do
it had
that.
the opposite effect.
It was so
of what
artificial.
Microsoft wanted.
But it's dead. They're done with it.
Yeah.
But it's a nasty surprise. What's the nasty
the
surprise?
nasty surprise is that once you convert all your points and the price conversion basically is that the real money currency charges are more expensive.
And that's what I
than
mean. Why we should
the
just be
points
happy
used to
with
be.
our
So
fake
a
money.
game.
What's the difference like?
So a game. Well, I've got the numbers written down. Let me just grab them.
This
for a
is quite
second.
this is quite substantial. It starts off light, but then it gets harder.
Yes. So when a game before was 400 points, which was the equivalent of £3.40,
Okay.
now the game costs £4.49.
That's a jump.
It's a pretty much 33% increase. And wow. And it's the same for the rest of it. 800 points, which was £6.80, is now £8.99.
That's a massive jump.
1,200 points, which was £10.40, is now £11.99. Bit of a lesser jump, but
have they justified this? What's
Nope.
What's the reason for it?
1,600 points, which is reserved for your games like State of Decay 1,600, Minecraft and all that.
Might be 1,200.
No, it's 1,600 percent. Yeah.
Was £13.60, in real money
Okay.
is now $14.99. So they've rounded it all up, basically.
But the problem is they take any points you currently have in the system and then they've changed them to a real money balance. But it means if you had loads of points on the system,
You've lost cash.
You've actually lost money now.
So essentially, if you're in the beta, you're being charged more than everyone else is. Based on reports.
Basically,
none of us are in the beta.
If you've got
but
points on your account,
don't enter the beta.
don't enter the beta or spend them
Why-
at some point soon.
I just what? Ah,
It's just,
I don't understand
yet
it.
another absolute
It's very odd.
failure on the PR front.
But doesn't
really.
it match the matches the PS3 store? That's what the thing is.
Well,
isn't it? Like,
sort of, but then the problem is they are changing economy. It's literally like just changing what money is worth.
yeah,
Well,
I agree. But this is why we should have just stuck with Microsoft points. We should have just never said anything and
Oh no,
stuck with
you can't-
Microsoft
no,
points.
that's not. It's not our fault.
I think they should have waited for Xbox One.
Of
before
course,
they did them.
they're always going to do this. Do you think someone said, "Oh, if we go to mine, we'll charge more"? Someone went, "Yes."
The thing is
that's
what
they do.
what
That's
we
what
were talking-
companies do.
Well, I don't agree with that, Simon, entirely. I think the thing that they're missing out on here is the fact that when you're spending silly money, it's like spending Monopoly money. And actually now, with this new system, I used to spend 400 points on Xbox Live without even
you don't.
blinking.
Yeah, you don't always think about how much you're spending.
400 points was the
that's
point
not
at which I
so
just
much.
go, yep, I don't even think.
yeah, exactly, because it's this Disneyland.
Whereas
cash.
now, £4.50, I'll think about that.
Yeah,
And I think
it's
actually...
like the App Store, isn't it?
Yeah.
Same thing. Like you know, 69p or whatever or 79p, whatever it is now for a song. I know sometimes people go, "Well, do I want it that much?" It's 80 pence. But if
Yeah.
it was like 5 Apple Magic Ruples or something,
Precisely.
I
you'd
think
probably do it.
If there's a general price hike, then yeah, it's negative. People won't like it. But the fact that you could have bought your points, you could have bought your 1,200 points and gone, I'm going to buy those Call of Duty maps. I'm going to download the beta first, though, get myself all updated. By the time you're converted back, you then can't afford that map because it's now
Yeah, it's
more
bad.
expensive than what you paid your points for.
But the other,
So that's the problem here, isn't it? And the fact that there's now essentially two different types of people buying the same content but at different prices.
Yeah.
And I know it depends on territory.
One thing I will
It
say, though, is I'm hoping, the only thing I do hope from this is the fact that they've almost entirely stopped using the 400 and 800 points marks for games recently. So I'm hoping
There's
that
going to be more variation
that this
across the
hike
board.
will mean that they'll actually start using
Well, what
the
we
full
discovered
scale.
this morning is that the Grid 2 DLC that's out today is 480 points, which is an odd number. You'd kind of expect something like to be 400
But it must
points,
have
and
something to do with the PS3 system because you can't have Call of Duty maps there costing less or more than they cost
I don't
on
think it's that
Xbox.
even that
But
complicated.
there has to be something in there because otherwise people will be like, well, I won't buy it on PS3, I'll go buy an Xbox
Nah.
because it'd be cheaper.
I reckon this is just a simple case of the fact that that with Xbox One they are squarely going at the living room market of everyone, the Apple
Doesn't
market.
need to raise the prices.
No, but
though.
I don't think it's that. I think it's more that that's why they're changing the price system entirely. It's just because they want to have. I think most kind of everyday consumers are scared off by this funny money, which means they won't get involved in the first
I get
place.
that, but I think the reason that they haven't just gone, well, now 800 points is exactly what the conversion thing is because then you'd have the same DLC that is multi-platform and it'd be cheaper on Xbox.
But that's not the problem. It's just the problem that they're not converting your money up. I wouldn't mind if they were making things more expensive as long as they went, all right, well, the amount of points you've got if they were basically giving you a couple of
I'm
quid.
arguing something different to everything else.
Yeah, no, because
I'm
I
with
get
the
what you mean.
conversation now. Yeah,
I don't have a problem with the price scales changing. I think £5, about 9 quid, 11 quid, 15 quid. That's not.
sorry,
a
we were
bad
having
scale.
different conversations. I'm with you now. Let's see where we're at.
That's cool. Can you put me down?
No, that is bad. They should give you whatever you paid to. It's like you wouldn't take a shirt back to H&M and then go, well, we're going to give you 3 quid less. So, well, no, it's what I paid for the shirt.
It's not a
change
real
our
currency.
prices
You can't
though,
have this exchange. It's not.
That's what I mean. That's why I'm agreeing with you.
It's strange. No, I know. I was
All right,
agreeing
you
with
gave me a
I was-
look like you piece of shit, Mel. I hate you. I'm going to kill you where you
I'm just
stand.
My standard
I'm
look.
just trying to work out what we've got written down. So a 4,200 Microsoft point card, as it stands at the moment, costs £33.
Okay.
That is then converted to £35.70 on the new
Right.
update. But 1,600 times 3 is 42. That's the same as what you've paid for 33.
Okay.
But if you were to buy that now, it costs you £45. So it's essentially a jump from 33 to 45, which is a big jump.
Yeah, that's
How much money do you get?
So essentially,
It's
you're
12
getting,
quid out of pocket.
you're getting 2 games now for what you'd have
Hang
got
on,
3 before.
I've got confused here. Right, let's break this down to brass taxes, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
If I bought a 1,200 Microsoft point card, that has cost me how much money?
You can't buy 1,200 Microsoft point
Okay,
cards.
well, whatever. All right, pedant.
You can buy 1,200 Microsoft points on the marketplace
Right, okay.
for £10.40.
How much
today.
money do I get back now once they convert my points?
I don't have that figure.
But actually, the thing is, going forward,
Do I get less or more?
You get more based. What the only figure I've got here where it's converted from points to currency is 4,200. 4,200 points card is £33.
So I paid £33 of my World Highlight Rally. Right.
That's then converted to £35.70.
Which is nowhere near the same difference that the games themselves are changing
So
by.
you're getting more money, but because the games cost
I don't know
more
how I feel about
themselves,
this.
yeah,
It's nonsense.
You're getting done essentially.
it's a weirdly badly
It's
handled.
not even
thing.
nonsense. It's just whole gibberish entirely. This is just.
The
This
Max-
is why the digital world sucks.
The thing is, when they abandon their beautiful heritage and go to the Xbox One, these new scales of price points will probably actually be quite effective in terms of the Steam way of getting their prices right and having just clean
I was
points.
going to ask, will games, do you think they'll have more flexibility in what price you can pick? Do you think games
I
can...
assume so. Yeah, I assume that's why they're going to the price point thing, because it means then they can charge whatever they want without
Yeah.
having to get stuck to these stupid points.
Go
I
on,
get
do
that, but it means for the next 6 months, it's booked. Like the
Yeah.
whole State of
Yeah,
Decay,
no,
right? I was going to buy State of Decay. But now looking at it like this, it's like it
They
was already 1,600 points was a bit much. But now if they're changing that to 15 quid, it's like
Honestly,
I'm not paying 15 quid for that game.
Yeah, they should have just said, look, Xbox One, we will not use Microsoft
Do it
points
then.
anymore. But at the same time, you have to spend all your Microsoft points before November, whatever. No, honestly, because this doesn't make any sense. Because this actually, if you take it, doesn't make any kind of sense.
I've
because
got about 1 million Microsoft
no,
points.
what I mean is you're getting more money than you actually paid. So everyone can go, well, we gave you more money actually paid. But
Yes.
then there's a hike up in prices, so it means the currency change isn't right. It's just gibberish. The whole thing doesn't make any
If
sense.
it balanced out, and I was given more for my Microsoft points, and that was reflected in the price of the games.
Yeah, but
That's
Microsoft
fine.
aren't going to give you excess more money than you pay, because they'll go, well, no, we've already given you a
Of
bit.
course.
That's why it's gibberish. They've just gone, you have to use all your Microsoft points by the end of the year, and then we're going into...
But they've never said, we're abandoning Microsoft points. By the way, everything's going to be more expensive in the future.
That's what I mean. That's why the whole thing is just a...
Yeah,
Makes no
I
sense.
think we're on the same wavelength.
Everything- Yeah, we
I think
are.
we're,
Fuck.
we think
That's
we're
what-
arguing against each other when we're actually
we all
with each
agree.
other.
Well, that's the whole point. We
No,
all
you're right. No, you're right.
That's the whole point. Is why are we getting confused? Because the whole thing makes absolutely
And that's
no
why
sense.
Microsoft points
It's
should
weird.
never have started, because
Well,
no one knows what
that's-
they're worth.
That's an argument, a different argument entirely. I agree
We
with
need
that.
to
but-
go back in time using Einstein's machine.
We should probably point out
and we can take it out of
Kill
history while we're there.
Microsoft.
as
it
well.
is still in beta. What we're talking about is based on what other people
Yeah, of
have
course.
said,
Yeah, it may not
and it
actually be
might
the way.
change for
Yeah.
the final thing.
But if let's say hypothetically that is correct, that is absolutely so bonkers. I don't actually think there's a way to argue it properly because it doesn't make any sense.
Confusing me with numbers.
It's completely nonsensical.
Anyway, I hate numbers, so
Yeah.
we're leaving the number realm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Getting on my magic carpet. We're going to go to the realm of questions, please.
Oh, God, I've trapped my questions.
That's incredible sound effects, Dave.
I don't even know what's the sound effect of.
It was my magic carpet, wasn't it? It's a bit of a wonky magic carpet, but does the job.
Okay, last week you asked for some more quick-fire questions, so I'll try and go with that approach. We got from the forums, Duckman, the man, the legend, the hero of our hearts. Duckman asked, best open world game that isn't by Rockstar.
Oblivion.
Morrowind.
No one said Skyrim. Controversial. Oblivion was
Fallout
better to me.
3.
Fallout 2.
So Bethesda boys then.
Open world. Oh no, actually, Batman Arkham
Black
City.
Isle, man. Black Isle.
That's
Arkham
open
City?
world. I love Arkham City.
Yeah.
It's Batman in it.
Actually, I've got a love for Crackdown as well. I think it's a bit of perfection.
Morrowind
Will do.
just is wonderful. Okay, this is for Simon, another RPG question. After moaning about The Witcher 2 in a recent podcast,
Questioning.
after moaning, sir,
He's written moaning.
have
so.
you stuck with it? Because Hootles from the forums said he started playing it after we discussed it and is thoroughly enjoying it. So, Simon,
No,
Oh.
I haven't. But I will go back into it at some point. It's just
you found it a tough game to start.
Yeah,
right?
it turned me off. So I'm gonna have to wait until it turns me back
Wait
on.
till the sex scenes, man. Whoop! It
Yeah.
shows you everything.
I remember before the enhanced edition, that the start to that game was just dreadful. It's
Yeah.
a brilliant game, but it was so
I
intimidating
will.
when you first
I
started
will go
playing.
back to it, but probably not for a few weeks at least.
Super Hans asks, where do you guys stand on keyboard and mouse versus controller?
Controller.
Depends on the game.
Well, yeah, the keyboard and mouse is always going to be better for shooters.
Yeah.
You've got much.
No.
But I'd always rather
prefer
play a shooter on a console. Just would, because it was brought
Yeah,
up on.
you get more
so-
precision with a mouse and keyboard, but I prefer playing on a pad now.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing.
I used to
Fair
play, but there's still obviously real-time strategy games and stuff like Dota.
Yeah, never.
Yeah,
always
try and play
about
Dota
that.
2 with Xbox pad. Good luck with that. Another one for Simon. Who'd win it? Well, actually, this is for us about Simon. Who'd win in a fight? Simon Miller, with both hands tied behind his back, or the rest of the office? And I'm going to
Simon.
combine both offices here.
Simon.
I think the rest of the office.
It's about
Well,
10
obviously
people.
the rest of the office
If
is like...
he had his hands tied behind his back,
Well, either
Yeah.
way, you can't fight 10 people.
Yeah,
You can't
10
fight one.
What would your strategy be if you had your
Headbutt.
Just because that looks really
Headbutt and knee and groin.
I think he'd kill a couple of us.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'd probably kind of keep my distance until he was
Skirt
tired.
on the edges.
Let him wear himself out and then go
Yeah.
for the killer blow.
When I was younger and used to fight with my brother, I used to charge him. I used to put my head down and charge. That's why my nickname as a kid was Rhino. So I probably do that quite a lot now.
Pretty badass, man.
That's a good nickname.
Yeah.
This is from the realm of the Twitters. Favorite comic book character?
Batman.
You're not allowed to say Batman.
Does it say that?
Yeah, it's got like a little star at the end. Not allowed to say Batman.
Superman, then, I guess.
Oh, Superman's boring.
Superman's well boring.
Rob's-
I'm sorry. I didn't realise I was you. I'm sorry. I think Superman is boring. I didn't realise that until this very second.
Well, I'm going to edit this podcast, so that's the only bit that people hear.
Sonic the Hedgehog from Sonic the
Sonic
Comic.
the Comic. I used to
There you go.
love that. What was wrong with us?
That was amazing.
No, it was brilliant. I'm going to go Wolverine because I'm boring.
I'm going to say Iron Man. I just like his
Fair play.
cockiness.
Not
It's
more-
good. What, you got a problem with Iron Man?
They're just
You
making
got a problem-
noises.
Sorry,
I'm
what
just
was
saying
that?
they're not more exciting than
Oh,
Superman.
I like
Oh,
Superman.
yes, they are.
We know
they,
Iron
they have
Man.
personalities for a start.
Superman is the most boring character in the world.
Superman was real. You'd all love him. He'd save you.
that does
He'd
not
save you
validate
so
your
much.
argument.
You'd
I'd
be
love him
fine.
in the same way that I love microwave ovens. Like, they're really useful. Like,
I'd like to
But
think
you're
you'd
not
love
going
him
to have
more
a
than a
conversation with a
microwave oven.
microwave oven.
probably
unless you're
about the
very
same,
drunk.
to be honest. I think his daily effect on my life would be as the same.
Fair enough.
Unless he saved my life, in which case I'd love him slightly more. than
Okay.
the microwave oven.
That was
There we
from Tom Hardy, so thanks for that.
Tom Hardy?
Wow.
That Bane. Cheers, Bane.
Yeah, that's what he was
God.
hoping
That's why he
for.
said not Batman. He's like, no, I'm not talking about him.
He's trying to find out. He's going to kill our favourite superheroes. No, Bane, don't break Superman's back. Actually, go for it.
Actually, yeah, that'd be fine. This is from Kenny Lim. How long will we have to wait until your Animal Crossing series becomes a full-length movie? I'd argue...
Well, they're already a
they
bit
are
long, really.
Small.
So, I mean, if
full-length
anything, we
movies
should
alone.
shorten them down. I mean, obviously, I've been doing my weekly Animal Crossing diaries, and they are. I mean, apologies. I mean, most people don't have time to watch them, but if you do have an afternoon free, we've made 4 of them. Sit
Yeah.
down, have a cup of tea.
Well, a couple of afternoons.
I don't think
really.
they need to be a movie. I think they're long enough already.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Fair enough. Geordie Wouters asks maybe some thoughts about Cube World. Well, we're going to do that later in the week.
We're trying to bloody buy it,
Yeah,
but
I can't
you
create an
can't
account.
buy it because it's
They've been DDoSed, apparently.
DDoSed.
Yeah, by people.
We're
going
to play it. You can bet your ass. We're going to play that
Damn
game.
straight.
I often do bet my ass. And it's still connected to my body, so I never lose.
We need to wrap this up.
Oh god.
I don't know what's happening.
He's gone full on Kurtz.
One more question from Ben Kenny. If each of you could only play one game for the rest of your life, you can have breaks. It was very thoughtful. Which
nice.
Well,
would
thank you,
you
mate.
choose? I imagine you're going to say Dota 2, aren't you?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
I actually don't know. I probably should have thought about this considering I've got the
But I don't know
questions.
because a lot of games end.
Yeah, so
so-
you need something competitive that you
Can
can
I
keep
say
playing.
GTA 5? Or is that cheating a little bit?
I think you'd eventually get bored of GTA 5.
That's cheating. It might be rubbish. It won't be
No,
rubbish.
I'll take that risk.
It'd have to be something.
Imagine that.
Something
Life
competitive.
condemned.
Dance night. Still playing it now, 6 months on, I guess.
Dance Central.
Yeah, it's true, it's not bad.
Yeah,
It's
if you played that for
You would
infinity,
be.
you'd be fit as
Jesus
fuck.
Christ. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Or dead.
Usher.
You'd be ripped like Jesus.
What? Does that even make sense?
Yeah.
Was Jesus ripped?
You'd imagine he
You've
is.
seen the stained glass windows? That guy was ripped.
Wow.
And very white, which is weird.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And that pretty much wraps it up for the questions. Nice quick fire.
quick fire. And so now it's time for a quick fire competition.
Yes, there we are. Nice.
I'm going to fire through this like a bat out of hell because I really need a piss.
And
So, the competition, member of the month competition. Obviously, member of the month. There are 3 ways you can be member of the month. We have 3 games from shop2.net.
really, it's members of the month.
Members of the month. Oh, that sounds even saucier. But basically, you can either be member of the month by being brilliant on the forums and people voting for you. Also, if you vote for somebody in member of the month, you are in with the chance
Which
of winning a
is
game.
just
It's just ludicrous because you can win a game for basically doing absolutely nothing. And thirdly, we have a prize for people who are just generally awesome in our specific competition.
podcast competition.
Last month we had a brilliant Scrolls competition in which people made kind of Magic the Gathering style cards. They're fantastic entries, well worth having a look on
The
the
more I
forum.
think about it, the picture of you for that scores competition looks like the picture I made for the Mount Your Friends
It does,
video. It's
actually.
very, very similar. I
prescient.
had some kind of
No, that's true.
full
That's
size.
depressing, that
Did
is.
you just win a game, Bratters? Is that what happened there?
pretty
It's
much
come out that you've cheated.
Yeah, well,
Cheating bastards. But yes, this time in theme with GTA 5 and also, of course, Call of Duty Ghosts, we are doing Pimp My Dog.
Yep.
So basically,
Yes.
we want to see if you had infinite money and you could pimp out a dog for the crafts of the future, in which I don't know. Basically, just obviously in GTA 5 you can customize your car in 1,000 ways. Apparently, that's a news story this morning.
It's a lot of ways.
Get a dog, pimp it out. Not like that.
Doesn't have to be the dog from GTA. Just get
a picture of a dog. It can be Photoshop. It could be your dog. It could be your dog.
Oh my god! Okay, well, I'm gonna definitely be looking out for
It
someone.
could be
who
like
can...
Buckaroo, where you just get a picture of a dog and just put as many objects onto it as you possibly can.
God,
I
that's
don't
a
want to hear
great
any
idea.
stories about someone starting some weird dog prostitute business.
Nothing sexy.
Don't
No
pimp out your
pimping
dog.
the dogs.
You've got-
No
We
pimping
want
the dogs.
absolutely nothing sexy
Yeah.
about dogs, because that is actually one of the
Weird.
strange places where I actually draw the line. And I don't draw the line under many things, but I
Unfortunately.
draw a line under that very hard and very quickly. So, basically we want to see your augmented dogs. Maybe it's a cyber dog, maybe it's a dog with wheels, maybe it's a dog with a backpack that's a jetpack. I don't know.
Dog with a chain.
Use your imagination. Dog with... That's not very original.
A gold chain.
A gold
Rude
chain?
dog.
Yeah.
You're
Rude
not
dog.
going to win this
Come on,
competition.
rude dog.
So go onto the forums, show us your Photoshop or
I'll make a
hand-drawn
post.
skills, and make a post, and you might win a game. That's it for this week, because if I don't go to a toilet very soon, I am going to explode into
hotness
a...
as well.
You do
It's
look
so
in-
hot in here.
Yes, and honestly, a fountain of hot piss is not going to help that situation.
It looks like you're in trouble.
Oh god, what a disgusting
you.
way to end the podcast, Matthew.
I know, right? I know. That's what I'm good for. Thank you very much for listening. As ever, if you haven't already subscribed on iTunes and given us a review, then you maybe need to think about your life to a more substantial degree, young man. Get to your room. My name's Matt Lees. I've been joined by Simon, as
Adios.
ever, Chris,
Hello.
as ever,
No, bye.
and
Good
Dave.
one.
Dave.
Goodbye.
Dave.
God damn it, I messed my outro.
Bye.